And welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. Bringing it to you here from Westlake Village, California. It is bright, beautiful, and early, and I'm wishing you a wonderful, highly favored, highly blessed day. Everything you touch will prosper. Anyways, let's take a look at some of the underlying market dynamics. And what do we have here? First off, open interest here is coming in. By the way, this is my third video today. The first one didn't record because the microphone wasn't on. Second one, my computer went totally nuts. So third time is the charm. We're going to get through on this one. Anyways, global open interest coming in at 12.1 billion. And what does that represent? All the leveraged positions on the board, over $12 billion. And why are we keeping an eye on this? Well, open interest, when open interest goes up, price is going to move in the direction of the trend. And anyways, specifically when open interest is above 13 to 14 billion, we've seen at a minimum of 25% corrections and maximum a lot more. And so again, if Bitcoin does show any kind of a weakness here on the daily time frame at 45,000, which that's in fact what it's doing right now, we got to move all the way up to 45,500. Any kind of weakness right there, alongside open interest coming up to that 13-14 billion dollar range, that'll be rather concerning. So we're not there yet. So I just want to make us aware of that. Okay, on the other side, the fear and greed index coming in here at I believe a 48. So we are out of the fearful zone for the first time in a couple of months, and that is good. And on top of that, we've got the leverage ratio, which is absolutely at all-time highs almost. And then we've got the funding rates, which are negative at the moment. And that is good for the bulls. Another point for the bulls, because if you're getting paid to hold longs after we just took a 20% move off the lows, that means I'd say people are still holding long, even though we're looking at a little bit of a correction in the short term. And that's what I want to get into right now. Most important thing is price action. And what do you know? On the weekly, we did say if we got a tick above this guy, we're going to hit the 9 exponential. So if you did take profit in this zone, hats off to you. It's hard to hit the sell button when everybody was bullish, saying it's going to go to the moon yesterday. And what did I want to bring up here? I'll start it off on the hourly for the CMEs, and I would say any kind of an hourly closure here below this guy, we're going to get a move down to the green 55 at 42,375. It looks like we're going to hit that maybe even over the next hour or two. Again, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. And this is a corrective consolidation, right? And why is that? Well, BBB, WT, the Bollinger Band width percentile is, on CMEs, it's it's increasing as we're making our first higher high. So I would expect some kind of a higher low. And as long as Bitcoin doesn't crack back below here, this yellow 21 at 40,700 on CMEs, and on spot price, it's coming in at 40,200. As long as we're closing dailies above there, I would expect that this just to be a consolidative move. And yeah, BBBWP is pretty much maxed out on the daily here. Can we go higher? Yeah. But that is our volatility measuring indicator. This measures volatility. And you can see we're getting way up there. Okay. So, could we come in and bounce off this yellow 21 and test back up into the spike high here at 45,000? Yes, absolutely. I think we could run back up there at 45,000. But overall, I'm looking for more of a consolidation here. You can see we're contracting on the 4 hour. On the 1 hour, we are increasing, which, we're getting our first lower low and lower high on the hourly time frame. So again, that's more in line of kind of a little bit of a correction over the next few days. But yes, I would say this, longer term, like over the next week or two, I think we perhaps give one more try to the upside a little bit later in February. And why is that? Well, we've been covering this guy right here, this falling channel breakout yesterday. We clearly broke that guy. And how do we measure this? Well, you take the width of the channel and you measure from the breakout. And that, what do you know, puts us right in line at 52,000. Our bull trap zone on the weekly time frame. And I'll just pull that up again and take these guys off. And where does a bull trap normally come in? Excuse me. Right at between the 0.5 and the 618. So between the 0.5 and the 618. So wick to wick on the weekly time frame. That's coming in right there at 50,440 to 54,315. What do you know? That's right in line there. And what have we been saying? If we put in another lower high there on the weekly, and then so Bitcoin goes, and then we crack back down and close back below the 382, that is going to give us our bias that yes, overall Bitcoin's price will come all the way back down to 30,000. I don't think it will break it on the first pass. Probably comes back up, another lower high, test it again. And probably takes 3, 6 months, 9 months, I don't know, 3 to 6 months before it breaks. Okay? So just be aware of that. And that likely is not happening today or tomorrow or next week or next month, but over some time. Weekly signals tend to take a bit longer. And what else did I want to point out? On the daily time frame, we do have some bearish divergence about to play out. And what is bearish divergence? Well, price is making lower highs, right? But RSI is making higher highs. So you can clearly see that's a lower high. And you can clearly see here, that's a higher high. That's our relative strength index. So it's measuring the move of price action and the strength of that move. And if we're creating lower highs and RSIs, anyways, that's called hidden bearish divergence, and that will typically get you a move down to the 9 exponential, and that's coming in right here at 41,390. And I would expect Bitcoin to play out some kind of a range in this area right here, okay, for the next day or two. And as long as we stay closing dailies above 40,000, I'm looking for this to continue onwards and upwards and go ahead and hit that target, which let me take off the drawing tool. And so where would I look for a target on this? And here's a nice thing about fibs is they actually work, right? So this is the range between this guy and this guy, right? So you would take that to the wick. Next target coming in at 41,500. Short stop there and some kind of a lower high. And then I'd expect 61 to 62,000 to get hit. And that would look very nice if we can get back above 52,000 on a daily time frame for some onwards and upwards action. So again, even though the correction can come down to 40,000, I'm going to remain with the upside bias as long as we're closing dailies above there. Okay, if we close below, so where would the invalidation on this guy? If we close a daily back below 40,000 bucks right here, the last breakdown, then I would expect a move down to 36.8 with a short-term bounce and continuation down to 33. And if that guy breaks, then I'd be looking for us to come all the way down to the blue box territory at 29 to 30,000 bucks. Okay, and let's take a look at the 4-hour time frame. And what I'm hoping at, what's the hopium here? That we just play off this 21 and pick ourselves back onwards and upwards. And where would the target be on something like that? Well, we go wick to wick, something like that. And if we do get a 4-hour closure back above 45,500, next target 47,249, and then up to 50 grand. And that is what I'm most likely looking for, as long as 4 hours are closing above. For the 4 hour, I would move it down to this guy right here at call it, as long as we're closing 4 hours above 39,200. So we can get a wick down there. We can get a test of that green 55. In fact, I'd look at that as a major buying opportunity somewhere in that zone. Yeah. And what else did I want to point out for today? I think that's about it. I'm going to wrap it up with that. So invalidation on Bitcoin, a 4 hour below 39,000 or a daily below 40,000. And I would look for the downside to kick in. Other than that, we're looking for onwards and upwards and some kind of a higher low on the daily time frame right around here at 40,000 to 42,000 bucks. And that could happen over the next few days or week. Okay, let's check out some of the trending altcoins. I'm just going to pull up a couple. One of them being Matic, which saw a 20% rally yesterday off of news. I'm going to pull this up. Even on CNBC, they're covering Matic. So Sequoia Capital, just one of the biggest VC capital firms out there, led a $450 million investment into Polygon yesterday. And they talked about doing it in December, and they followed through. Another little piece of news I thought was nice here. Wells Fargo, even your bank, Warren Buffett's bank of all banks, the guy who called Bitcoin rat poison squared, Warren Buffett's bank says, hey, Wells Fargo says it's not too late to buy Bitcoin. The banking giant says Bitcoin is nearing hyper adoption phase similar to the internet. What do you know, Warren Buffett? And it's not too late to invest in Bitcoin, said the multinational financial service giant. And Wells Fargo, you know, another one of those crooked banks that was ripping everybody off. I forgot what scam they were involved in last year, but they got some big fines. And now they're saying maybe you should get some Bitcoin. What do you know? Anyways, back on to Matic, which I would say, what happened here? So wick to wick on a volatile asset. We got almost up to the 2618. So if we base off of this guy, you can come down to the 786. As long as we don't close back below the 163 level, then I would really, here's my point of failure right here at 176. As long as that guy holds, I'm looking for Matic to move onwards and upwards and probably okay, first let's take it one step at a time. Daily closure back above 213 is going to get us a move back to 244 with a short-term stop and probably a move all the way up to 265. If we can get above this guy, I'm looking for this guy to get hit at the 423. So Matic is looking rather bullish with that announcement yesterday. What other one looks nice? And I was looking at on a 4 hour. And yep, as long as this area holds for Mr. Atom or Cosmos, I would look at that as a pretty decent buying opportunity with a very easy way to manage risk. As long as we don't get any 4 hour closures back below this guy. So, yep, volatility is going to be increasing from a very low level. We've got momentum coming down, kicked out of the, first test into the bearish control zone is usually a bounce. And you got a little trend line here on RSI, which is a little bit regressive. 1, 2, 3. Yep. So I would expect a little bit of a bounce in the short term. Let's take a look at the hourly time frame, which hourly, we are just about to cross up here. Kind of get a little bit of a rejection, but crossing up from a very low level. And RSI is making, so from this point, right, we got all higher lows here, and that's 1, 2, 3, I'd say almost 4 or 5 drives of hidden bullish divergence, and that should give you a kick up to the top side of the range at about 32 bucks. And if $32 can get, call it 32.20, if we can break in with an hourly closure back above 32.20, next target's 34.95 or 35 bucks, and continuation onwards and upwards, probably to somewhere around 37 bucks. So Another one looking pretty nice there. And Luna also looking pretty nice. I think that one was the better of the two on the 4 hour I was looking at. Yeah. So on the 4 hour, you got the golden cross between the yellow 21 and the green 55. Typically, that is your buy area on the green 55, a retest of that area. And typically, you'll get a move, something like this, right? At a minimum. And that would get us onwards and upwards from there. And that would take this last high out over there. So I do like that one with an easy way to manage your risk with a stop market somewhere around 52 bucks. But if Bitcoin wants to play out a little bit more of a correction, you know, remember, altcoins are going to do whatever Bitcoin does. So I'm going to wrap it up with that. Bitcoin is playing out a little bit of a correction. That's completely fine. All we want to do is see Bitcoin put in a lower high on the daily, and we'll have our first higher high and higher low trend reversal on the daily. And that would be good for a move probably back up to 50 to 52,000. Okay, thank you guys for watching the video. And look, if you want to start to learn how to trade, we've got a link in the description below. You can set up a free TradingView account. And remember, we're not financial advisors. We're here to help educate you so you can make your own decisions for yourself based on your own trading strategy. If you enjoyed watching our daily analysis, click the like and subscribe button. And that'll remind you of all the future videos we put out and the resources we drop. And if you're interested in learning about incorporating Bitcoin in your IRA, you can click on the link in the description below for that as well and get your free ebook today. Look forward to hearing from you guys and have a blessed day.